it's chunky. You already know what the fuck it is, and you already know what's gonna go down, okay? We're gonna eat a big ass juicy pastrami right here. Look at this shit. Bam on that hoe. Wait, let me take a picture. Oh no, I'll be like, okay. So today we are going to be talking about okay, so let me start like this. First, we're going to be eating a pastrami, cheese, pickles. We got the famous onion rings because y'all love to see me shove onion rings in my mouth. Excuse me for the lighting. I don't know if it's too good right now. I am going to be getting better lighting. It's just that this lighting, my other light went out, so I only have one light. So I gotta order some lights, okay, you guys? So I'm gonna do that ASAP. Don't worry, the lighting will get better, okay? So we're gonna be eating this. Let me get my ranch. Let me get situated. Ooh, okay, my chiles, my ranch. My daughter took one of my ranches, so we're kind of low on ranch today, but you know, I'm gonna make it work. So my homegirl, I was on live on TikTok. If you guys don't follow me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. I'll have it down below. I was on live on TikTok and I was like telling my people, like, what should I talk about in my next video? And my homegirl's like, you should talk about how it was being a teen mom, like how lonely it was. I'm like, how was it, you know? So I liked that, and I liked that she asked that, because I don't know if I've ever talked about, you know, when I got pregnant with my first daughter and how it was for me and like what happened and stuff like that. I don't recall that I've made a video, but I've made so many videos. So I'm just gonna make another one. Also, this is, you know, dedicated to my homegirl Angie. She was a teen mom. She was like 13 years old when she had her first kid. So she was really young. 13 or 14. Not 14. 12 or 13. She was very young. She had like 3 kids by the time she was 20 years old. She already had 3 kids. She was like, now she's a grandma. She's like the youngest grandma. She's a freaking grandma. Can you believe that? And she's younger than me. She's a couple years younger than me. So that's crazy. It's wild. It's really wild. She was a young mom and now she's a young grandma, and it's just wild. We just always make fun of her. She's like, I'm a G mama. I'm a G mama. I'm like, bitch, you a grandma. But we always make fun of her and shit. Yeah, but you know, this is for her. This is dedicated to you, girl. Good looking out. You're doing a good job. Your kids are getting older and everything. So cheers to you. Ari's got the best pastrami's. So, I was not that young when I had my daughter. But I was 19. Was I 18 or 19? Shit, I can't remember if I was 18 or 19. But, you know, I was still technically a teen. And to me, 18, 19 is young. Ari's has the best ice too. They got that good ice. So, I met my baby daddy when I was 17 years old. And, you know, we had been like doing the damn thing, you know, getting it in. For a whole year before I got pregnant. Me and my first baby daddy, you know, he was older. He was much older than me. And, you know, back in my day, being a lot older, like being with a guy a lot older than you was not, you know, too taboo. There was a lot of young girls being with older guys. So it wasn't like, oh my God. Now it's like, you know, now I would not agree with it. Now, like, if that was my child, I would be like, hell to the motherfucking no. Why are you being with that old man? That's disgusting. So now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, like, what's this older guy doing being interested in me? But, I mean, you know, I was 17. I'm going to be 18. He was like, you know, in his 20s. Wasn't like so crazy. I wasn't like 13 or I wasn't like 12 or I wasn't, you know, I was 17, going to be 18. So, anyways, you know, he was an older guy, you know, and he like was going through his shit. And, you know, I'm just young, innocent. Like not like innocent, you know, but you know, innocent as in like I'm not like no fucking like I'm not like no troublemaker or no like fucking outlaw or some shit like that, you know. I was a G, but I'm not like that. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So I don't know why, but when you're young, you don't think about, oh my God, I could get pregnant. Like, when you're in the moment, you don't think about it. So when I got pregnant, I was sick. I felt like I had like a flu. And I thought I was just sick until my sister-in-law, it was my sister-in-law that pointed it out. Because my sister-in-law had just, I was over the moon because we had my first, I was an auntie for the first time. So my brother, my older brother had just had a baby. So I was over the moon. Like, I was the best auntie. Like, I would always take care of my goddaughter. Like, you know, they eventually made me her goddaughter because I spoiled her so much. Like, I always had her with me. I took care of her all the time. And I was like over the moon being an auntie. I didn't even think about me being pregnant. Like, I didn't even think about it. And I had to tell my sister-in-law I don't feel good. Like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And she's like, girl, you haven't been feeling good for a while. You didn't get pregnancy test. And I was like, oh, hell no. No way. Can't be. No. Don't say that. Like, I was scared. Like, I had butterflies in my stomach. I was like, I wanted to throw up. Like, I was so scared. I was like, no. No. Can't be true. He was like, okay. But if you want to go get one, let me know. I'll get you one. I was like, I'm going to wait until I get my period. Because, no, there's no way. When she put that in my head, I started thinking like, oh shit, I might be pregnant. I'm scared. So, eventually I found out because I was still sick. I told my sister-in-law to buy me a pregnancy test. She did. And I found out I was pregnant and I was like, oh my God, what? She was like, what are you gonna do? Like, oh my God, you know, like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. I was so scared, so nervous, like, I can't believe it. So, when I had my baby, he was locked up. He was locked up in prison, facing 12 years, 12 to 15 years. And I was like hurt. I was very hurt. Um, I was very upset that he did that and that he would just leave me out here to rot. Like, even though he was gonna be the one rotting in there, I felt like he just left me out here, like he didn't care. And when he first called me, I was like, how the fuck can you do this shit? Like, I'm pregnant. Like, really? Like, you just, like, I felt like he did it just to get away from me. Like, just to get away from his responsibilities. So I told him off and I yelled at him and I told him, like, I never want to fucking talk to you again. Like, you're a fucking lame. Like, you're stupid. Like, why would you do this shit to me? My first baby, and we're going to be locked up. You're not even going to be able to help me. I went through the whole thing alone. And I felt very lonely. I wasn't alone technically, like, but I didn't have a partner. And it was very sad, very lonely. I would cry a lot. I felt really sad. Luckily, I had my mom there. My mom was upset too at me for a long time. So I felt lonely. Eventually, she was like, you're my daughter. Like, I have to be here for you. So eventually, everybody became like, by the time I was like 7 months, pretty much like 2 months before I gave birth, everybody was already comfortable with the fact that I was pregnant, even though it was very shocking and my significant other was not there for me. But I definitely would not suggest to do it on your own because it's very sad and it's very lonely. But when I did eventually have her, it was a beautiful thing because she was my best friend. We did everything together. There was times where I felt lonely, but I knew I always had her. So, we were like best friends. And she was my little best friend, my small, little, tiny best friend. And, but I did feel lonely a lot. I did really feel lonely a lot without, I felt like, like I was scared and nervous to let any other man in my life because I didn't want another man around my child, especially because she was a little girl, and I was very scared about that. And there was moments of being a single mom. There was moments where I started to begin to like kind of like think like I would never be able to like have another person in my life, meaning like a boyfriend or anything, because I felt like I was just too nervous to bring a man around my child. And I do not till this day understand how women do it. How do they bring a man that they've only known for a couple of months around their child? Because when I met Vato, like, I did not bring him around my child right away. It took some time. It took about 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Or was it 3 years? It was like, I'm not sure, 2 to 3 years before he even met her. So, I think it was like on her, I think it was her 4th birthday that he was like, more around her than anything. But I trusted Vato because Vato was already a dad. So Vato had 2 kids before. So I felt comfortable. I watched Vato around his nieces and nephews and how he was like the favorite uncle. A lot of kids loved him and a lot of people trusted him. So Vato really checked out. And that's why I really like kind of like clinged on to Vato because I would see him like taking care of his nieces and nephews when I first met him, looking out for them. I've seen him take care of like so many children, and I was just like, oh my god, this man, like, the kids really love him. Like, the kids really, really loved him. His nieces, his nephews, his friends' kids, like, they all just kind of like trusted Vato, and I just felt the trust in my heart. So I just knew I wanted this man, like, I could trust this man, Obviously, I never let him, like, watch my child alone and all that shit, like, at the beginning. I just kind of like watched what I, watched kind of like went around that, but it eventually irons out. It eventually gets comfortable to the point where, you know, she eventually was like, that's my dad too. Like she thought that that was her dad, because obviously her dad was locked up for a long time. So, um, anyways, so when I was by myself with my child, um, it was very lonely. Sometimes I would cry and just think that I would never find anybody. But also, it was a beautiful thing because we had a beautiful relationship, because I would like take her to um everywhere. Like I took her everywhere, and we had a bond that could not be broken. Like she was very attached to me because I was her only parent. Obviously she had my mom, and but still she was still attached to me because I was with her every day. And I just made sure that I was the best mom I could be. I wasn't perfect, but I always made sure that I was with my child every day. I took her to Chuck E. Cheese. Like her favorite place was Chuck E. Cheese. The park. Um, we'll go to the park almost every day. I would meet other single moms. Um, we would go to Chuck E. Cheese every day. I would buy her everything she wanted. She was my best friend. And although it was very hard doing it on my own, it was beautiful because we had a good bond. Just me and her. She was my best friend. And I don't know how it would have been. Sometimes I think of like how would it have been if her dad was there, you know? But obviously we can't go back on the past. We can't like really turn back time. And I mean I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like I really am just, happy that I raised a beautiful young lady, and now she's growing up. She got a bit of an attitude, like like her mom and her dad too. Her dad's kind of like, but she's very talented, very beautiful, very smart. She's always been really, really smart. Um, and yeah, if you're a single mother, if you're a young mother, just stick in there. Um, Everything irons out. Pray about it. Use wisdom. Use your common sense, and about letting people around your children. Please, please, because there's too many people out here in the news leaving their kids with their boyfriends. Please do not do that. Please, for the love of God, if you're with a man for a month or a couple of weeks, do not leave him with your kid. Wait until you really know the guy, okay? That's all I gotta say. Is just wait until you really fucking know him. Do not leave your kids with nobody. You stay by their side no matter what. Even if you gotta go to work, bitch, you take your kid with you. But, you know, with that being said, I love you guys. I hope you guys like this mukbang. You guys stay chunky because chunky is beautiful. Make sure you follow me on all my social medias. Till next time, I love you guys. Peace out.